Hmm, 2024 has definitely been an interesting year for movies. There's ones we absolutely loved, there's the ones that everybody despised, and plenty that only a handful of people watched. And whether or not you went out to see a movie with friends or family, you binged watch off of Netflix, or you got caught up on good old cable television, everyone's got something to talk about. What's become abundantly clear over the years is that not everyone likes or even watches the same types of movies. A matter of fact, movies are one of those things that almost everyone has their own different opinions on, both negative and positive opinions. We can and do agree on most, at least. When it comes to the absolute best of the best concerning movies, it's going to be nigh impossible to make a list that everyone will 100% agree on. We all look out for different things to tick off when we're watching movies. Say the cinematography, the storyline, the pacing, the characters, and the world building. Everyone's idea of what exactly makes a good movie is slightly different from the rest. So, for the purpose of this video, I decided to pick the movies I'll be talking about by their respective genres, or movie categories. 8 genres that is, and a bonus one at the end of the video. Mind you, this video is a celebration of 2024's best movies, not of the best actors or the best film directors. You'll find timestamps to each segment in the description, where I talk about their potential candidates and my overall winner for that category. For those of you who are yet to dig into the best movies 2024 had to offer, I don't go into anything too deeply, but there's still a few spoilers sprinkled here and there, just so you know. That said, ladies and gentlemen, your top picks of the best movies for 2024. Starting off strong here with arguably the most abundant genre in the movie scene, action-adventure. And for 2024, oh, it's such an easy pick for this category. Now, when I think of action-adventure, the movies that immediately pop to mind are the James Bond movies, Mission Impossible, Hobbs & Shaw, Jurassic World, The Matrix, Terminator, Jumanji, like All Detective or A Wild Amusing Journey, all of that fast-paced action up in your face. And yes, some of these movies technically fall into other categories, but basically, they're the kind of movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat, waiting to see how things play out. Yeah, action-adventure pretty much. And for 2024, my overall pick for the best action-adventure has to be Furiosa. You'll know if you've watched this one that there isn't another movie in this genre that's even remotely close. By golly, was this movie a banger. Watched that first Mad Max movie a couple of years back and didn't really pay much attention to it back then. With Furiosa, it was so easy to get into this world where mostly everything has gone to bollocks, and it makes a lot of things from the first movie make sense. Watched both on the same day, and oh, was it a beautiful day. The actors did such a great job with their roles. I was no joke still wondering halfway through the movie if Chris Hemsworth had a brother who was also an actor. Yeah, definitely one of his most unique roles. Gotta give it to him. And Anya Taylor. Gosh, cinema peaked here this year, people. This isn't supposed to be a long video, so moving on. Next category, comedy/drama. For this category, think family friendly. Think about a movie you'd see with your folks out at a theater or something. It has to have all the funny bits and the rather simple storyline. Something for people of all ages to see and enjoy some quality time together. Maybe even relive old memories. Yeah, based off of that alone, there's a lot of animated titles in this genre. Despicable Me 4, the Garfield movie. Oh, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is definitely on here. I don't think Orion and the Dark came out in theaters, but another solid pick. However, my pick for the best movie in the family/comedy/drama genre of 2024 is going to be Inside Out 2. I did a video on this one when it came out. Link in the description if you want to go check that out. I was a bit skeptical before it released because I so badly didn't want to see this franchise ruined, and safe to say, they didn't disappoint. Next, Sci-Fi. And I'm sure you already know which movie is going to win this one, so I'll just say it now. Best sci-fi that came out in 2024, Dune Part 2. The Wild Robot is a close tie with this one. Heck, it's probably even a better movie for most. But for the hardcore sci-fi fans, we're going to have to go Dune 2 here. Oh my days, the power scenes in this movie were out of this world. I watched both parts 1 and 2 on the same day as well for this one. Best 4 hours of my movie time this year. To watch the disgruntled young heir of Arrakis grow and evolve into this powerful figure that once mighty barons cower at the sight of was pure bliss. Seriously, nothing could have prepared me for this specific scene where Muad'Dib, or better yet, the Lisan al-Gaib, just walks in and owns everyone that's present. The Emperor, the Harkonnen Baron, Fade Rotha, the Bene Gesserit. My mouth was literally hanging throughout the entire thing. I don't intend to spoil anymore, so absolute 10 out of 10 movie. Wow. Moving on, since we've talked about sci-fi, we have to do fantasy as well. It's a broad category, but think about Harry Potter, think Alice in Wonderland or Disney's Frozen. Most Disney movies, I guess. So what do we have? Well, for 2024, there's a bunch, both for animated and live action films. We have If, Moana 2, Beetlejuice 2, Wicked, Damsel, to name but a few. Damsel pretty much ticked all the boxes for you fantasy geeks. There's dragons, magical kingdoms ruled by a nefarious king or queen, a damsel in distress. You know, typical fantasy tropes that still work. I think the actors were great as well. Just, unfortunately, this one was a bit lacking in the basic logic department. Gosh, I'm being too generous here, so maybe severely lacking in the logic department. Well then, we still have a bunch of options, and for me, the best fantasy movie of 2024 goes to Wicked. Yeah, no, Wicked was fun, had some interesting plot twists here and there, took a lot of people by surprise. Wizard of Oz is a well-known IP, so this one already checks the box for the fantasy feels. It's not all blown out on the magic and the big wild adventures, but it's a story that's more rooted in human connection, friendship, and acceptance. Oh, and the musical bits. I do have to say, this is the kind of movie where you'd expect the actors to mess up the roles and everything, what with it being from a musical preset and all. But the acting in this one is actually pretty good, and it just makes an already good story even that much better. Go on, give it a watch, see if you rock with it as much. Next category, and I know a lot of you have been waiting for this one, horror. Now, I'll be real with you, even though I'm not big on this particular genre, like some of you horror fans out there, I don't scare that easily. Alien Romulus wasn't one of those movies that spooked me hairless. Sure, the regular jump scares got me once or twice, something I don't see recurring on a second watch. But this is the kind of horror movie that has you begging, literally begging the story to kill off some of the characters early on, virtue of them being too naive or having zero survival instinct. Alien Romulus definitely didn't disappoint us there. Yet, we were down to only 2 protagonists and a robot dude by the middle of the movie. And we started with like 6. Oh my gosh, thank you. That in itself makes this one an easy recommend. This next one isn't for the faint of heart, obviously. The Substance. And The Substance explored the story of an old lady who wanted her glorious youth back. And so she resorted to a substance that made it possible. Only thing is, she got to be a younger, prettier version of herself for only a week, after which she had to revert to her old, aging self. Those were the rules. It's a horror movie. Of course she breaks the rules. Gosh, this thing gave me the creeps. Even though it's my pick for the scariest movie I saw this year, it's still a hard recommend. Obviously, not everyone is interested in giving themselves the creepiest of heebie-jeebies. This movie is not the kind of thing I usually watch, but had to do it for the video, man. Oh, and then there's Long Legs. More Uncanny Valley with sour endings. My genuine thoughts throughout this one was, What the fuck am I even watching? Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Oh, quick update on the Winnie the Pooh sequel. Remember how this movie had a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes when it came out? Yeah, that was 2024. Time flies. Well, that aggregate is sitting at a comfortable 47% now. We've been deceived, it appears. But, I can't say I saw it coming. Next category, superhero. Yeah, good change of mood. Now, this genre would technically fall under sci-fi, but then you realize there's superheroes that use magic instead of science. Hence, entirely separate genre. Marvel and DC have dominated here for ages. Most of the fans of this genre come from comics, so that makes sense. This year, we saw incredible superhero movies like Mega Man 2, Joker 2, Madam Web. This year, we saw incredible superhero movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, Venom 3. Man, I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. Deadpool Wolverine was big this year. Like, big. It basically did for boys in 2024 what the Barbie movie did for girls in 2023. You know, that coming together and all. You could argue that better superhero movies came out this year, but come on. With Deadpool 3, wasn't it refreshing to see a superhero movie winning big time at the box office again? I mean, just last year, everyone was talking about superhero fatigue and how Marvel was so done after Endgame. Yeah, these old geezers still have some smoke. Next category, romance. For the record, I've been real busy with school this year. Still am. So I haven't actually watched any of the movies in this category. Just had to add this one in, you know. So the video is still relevant to whoever came searching for this. So what did the community recommend? Upgraded, A Family Affair, and Challenges. Make of those what you will. Next, if non-fiction is your thing, I've got you. Yeah, previous years have really had it great with this one, depicting some important historical event, maybe war, just anything that was based off a true story, like Oppenheimer in 2023. That's what we're looking for here. So candidates, The Order 2024, based on a true story, Unfrosted 2024, based on a true story, and The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare 2024, also based on a true story. And that last one takes the win, I guess. It stars Henry Cavill, it has some good light humor. Give it a watch, see for yourself. Oh, didn't I mention something about a bonus genre? Well, what is that category of movies that keeps coming out every year, at least for the 2020s? These movies that make us question if the trope is overused and needs to be stopped, or if the retelling is well deserved and must continue, and that's almost always the same thing done over. With all the flashy gun skills, the suits, the assassins, mostly a simple revenge plot, a mega rich villain, more flashy gun stuff, and even more flashy gun stuff. You guessed it, it's the John Wick clone. For 2021, it was Nobody. For 2022, it was The Grey Man. For 2023, it was John Wick Chapter 4. This one was rather spectacular. And the best John Wick clone of 2024 goes to Monkey Man. Yeah, this list wouldn't be legit if there wasn't a good old Indian movie on here. This one is a little less dialed down with the overblown visual effects and CGI, but we're still getting the full experience nonetheless. Easy recommend if you haven't watched it yet. I don't know if The Beekeeper fits this category. It probably does, but come on, it's Jason Statham. His movies are defo his own big franchise. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, best overall movie of 2024, and you'd think this would be an easy pick. If we just used the best movie in each genre as our candidates for the overall best movie, yeah, that would be easy. But, movies aren't made with the sole purpose of winning awards and accolades. at least not to us, the mass audience. Movies are meant to be fun, to be entertaining, to give meaningful use to time, and to be enjoyed by us. And not that it changes much, but for that reason, we're putting together every movie that came out in 2024 and asking ourselves these questions. Which one was actually the best? Which one was the most enjoyed, most entertaining thing we saw this year? The one that everybody who watched it had something good to say about? Which one had the most impact on the movie industry? Well, my pick for the best animated movie that came out in 2024 goes to The Wild Robot. You know, it kind of pinches me that I haven't made a separate video on this movie yet. The Wild Robot is a beautifully animated movie that came out in 2024 about the eventful lives of a robot and a bird. Scratch that, about a robot and a fox. And this is a DreamWorks movie. Ah, man, the sheer attention to detail and the overall animation is insane. And it's not just that it looks good, it is good. This movie is probably going to be the best animated thing we see in a while. And what's more amazing, it took just 3 years to make. If you ever wondered what a masterpiece in movies looks like, this is it. DreamWorks, even if the animation style is going to change, please, we need more masterfully crafted stories like this. Gosh, I literally can't remember the last time my eyes watered over a movie. I intend to keep this video short, and not enough can be said about how good a movie this was. Again, it's a masterpiece. Go watch it if you haven't already. Believe me, all that hype you're seeing around, it's legit. And of course, for the best live-action movie that released in 2024, I'll still have to go with Dune Part 2. Gosh, the power scenes, the depth in the world building, the character development. I saw this movie right after I watched the first one, and honestly, I haven't seen another 2024 release that got me as invested. But hey, maybe that's just me. Movies are so subjective, man. Another bonus for making it this far into the video, the worst overall movie that came out in 2024. You guessed it, Megamind 2. Scratch that. Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. Probably the biggest letdown of the decade so far. Man, DreamWorks sure had stuff to show this year. Shafrilas Productions has hour-long videos on this movie, so I'm not even going to say much here. Go watch those if you're interested. And for those of you who are going to look up the worst-rated movies of 2024, like Madam Web and Borderlands, no, not many people even knew about those before they came out. Megamind has garnered hundreds of millions of fans since it came out, all the way back in 2010. 2010, people. So just no. In my humble opinion, Madam Web wasn't even that bad of a movie. Maybe I should make a video on that. But yeah, that's about that for the worst movie of 2024. And as I've said already, movies are such a subjective topic. It's even surprising a lot of people can agree on so much. You watching this video probably have your own opinion on what the best movies of the year were. And it really doesn't matter if someone else's opinions differ, or if they think otherwise. It's still the best movie that came out to you. And that's what matters. Your opinions are yours, as each is theirs. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I look forward to all your interesting comments. Do let me know what your favorite movies of 2024 were. And I'll leave you here with this cool little montage of what I think as the most underrated movies I've seen this year. Throw in some of the cool movie moments as well. Think of it as honorable mentions and highlights. And with that said, catch you later.